So, what did you want to talk about?
When spring comes, I'm leaving town. I'm going to Midgar. I'm going to be a soldier. The best of the best. Like Sephiroth.
So after what seems like a decade of waiting, finally we get to play Final Fantasy VII Remake. This is out. It's been out for a little while. And in the completion of this game, we're going to review it right here on the Gamestork. One of the biggest games of all time. Arguably one of the best JRPGs, if not the best JRPG ever. Does it live up to the hype? Let's get into it.
The stench of the director's cowardice fills the room yet again.
Mako supersaturation confirmed.
Engaging material cooling to reduce temperature.
Game director, you have a meeting shortly.
So first of all, the very idea that Final Fantasy VII Remake was being remade was kind of controversial in itself. The idea is that when we remake games as a culture, remake movies as a culture, we tend to ruin those things, especially for the purists out there who really just want it the way that it was before. Now in this case, the creators of this game really went all out to steal the hearts of the audience. They invested so much in every area of the game, and we're going to look at all those today. The first thing I want to talk about is Midgar itself. Oh my gosh, the environments are beautiful and vibrant. The creators of this title have honestly brought forth new life through the environments in such a way that I always dreamed like they would look. And honestly, it's even better than what I always thought it would look like. Going back and playing the original before this one came out, I was like, I don't really know how this is going to play out. But to be honest, after looking at this and just walking and looking up at the plate for the first time, I was blown away. You just could not make the environments any more beautiful than they were in this game. And really, that's all we need to say. If you haven't seen it running on your television...
Didn't know you were holding down the fort.
Huh? Oh, hey, Cloud. Looking to join the neighborhood watch?
That depends. What does this neighborhood watch do?
Lots of stuff, really. But our top priority is taking care of any beasts that wander into town. That, and teaching the locals how to defend themselves.
Like they say, the only one who will look out for you is you.
The storytelling in this is based around some goofy character interactions, which were honestly the same as they were before, but presented in such a way to really make you grab hold of characters that you didn't believe that you cared about from the first game. Let's face it, the entire 30-plus hour experience here in Final Fantasy VII Remake was the first 3 to 4-ish hours, if even that, of the original Final Fantasy VII game. So going to characters like Jesse and Biggs, and in the original game who you didn't care about, and realizing that they're actual really awesome characters who you learn to love and care about. You want them around. You want them at your house for dinner at nighttime. These guys are great, right? They do such a good job of pulling you into every character, making you care about that character immediately in the story, despite the fact that Cloud is still filled with Mako, as they say, and he's still Cloud. He doesn't know how to interact with anyone, and I love that they kept that about him. The characters were respectfully kept as, the JRPG character, but also given life to appeal to a Western audience, which I love. The environments also really honestly seem like a desolate place that also appealed to the Western JRPG audience, and it really blew me away. Now, I immediately fell back in love with Tifa and back in love with Aerith, and honestly, I was just like, oh my gosh, I love them so much. And as a kid, I did. They did such a good job with the characters in this game. To be honest with you, as far as JRPG storytelling, this is unparalleled, the best presentation of a JRPG story in the history of gaming. And it doesn't mean it's necessarily the best story, don't get me wrong, but the presentation here, the love put in every interaction, life given to new characters, every single thing that you see, there is life, there's wonderful voice acting, there's character, there's relationships. There are things that most movies don't even nail as they film those. They nailed them in this game. And this is unparalleled storytelling for the JRPG community, and also should be the go-to way to show a story, to develop characters in the future for all JRPG titles. I think about a lot of titles that if they went back like Chrono Trigger and honestly did this, oh my gosh, I mean, come on. A little on the battle system. I love the battle system here. I think it's great. And at first I didn't realize that the other characters did not do much. But once you figure out that it's up to you to control those characters, set quick commands, and also put them in a correct way by giving them not only the correct equipment, but also materia to help you in battle, then things start to move. This game literally forces you to switch characters on the fly to achieve things in battle that you want achieved. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I've always just kind of done my thing with the main character and counted on the side characters to do their best, or set them kind of briefly just to be aggressive or whatever else. Now, this is a plus and a minus in my book. I was very excited. I loved the battle system and it was great, but I could also see them expanding on that by giving us a few more options pre-battle and allowing us to set up their tendencies or commands, maybe like the Gambit system in Final Fantasy XII, which I loved. The last thing I want to talk about is how linear this game is. I've heard some complaints about that. However, I want to remind you that the beginning, the Midgar section of Final Fantasy VII was very linear. The beginning of that entire game was a linear experience, and later it opened up into an open world. So the fact that they went with a linear experience here for Final Fantasy VII Remake, which is a 30+ hour experience of the first of the original game, makes sense. However, there are areas in which you can get side quests and kind of do your own thing for a little while. I never got distracted or upset that this game was as linear as it is. There are many games that are taking this form, especially remakes like Resident Evil, and I think out of all of those games that have been remade, this one does it the best. I love the battle system. I love that you can essentially freeze and do the things that you need to do, kind of like turn-based, working up meters, doing what you got to do to win. I love it. Everything was great about this game. As a matter of fact, I would say that this is the best presentation that could ever possibly have been with this game. Doesn't mean that it was perfect, but what I will score this game is right here, a 10 out of 10. This is a masterpiece. 10 doesn't mean that it's a perfect game. In the next game, I would love to see them opening up a little bit on the environments as the original game did. And I would also love to see those preemptive things put into the battle system. However, everything else was perfect. This was an experience I will remember the rest of my life. I will revisit this and play it again before the next one comes out. And they deserve every cent of mine and your money. Guys, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this review, please stick around, subscribe to this channel, like, and comment below. Let me know how you feel about this game. Is it the best JRPG you've ever played? And what would you score it? We'll see you next time. This has been a Gamestork review.
Gamestork, delivering news, reviews, and playthroughs like a newborn baby.